Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today y Mañana. I'm Alex. This is Michael. We're very excited to have you joining us on a beautiful morning.
Beautiful morning.
Here in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Nice, cool, crisp October day.
Crisp, not without, that kind of raininess. I know last weekend Xavier and I had a little, it wasn't the best weather.
Yeah.
But today is very nice. It's the perfect day. It's cool enough that you can go get your café con leche, get into your cozy place, and watch some Today y Mañana.
Yes, or maybe like a pumpkin spice, because it is that time of year. Have you gotten your pumpkin spice?
I have not. I have not done my pumpkin spice.
We used to have like a tradition. We're not really big Starbucks people, but every once in a while, like during the October, November, December.
We basically go once.
Yes, because
maybe twice.
You gotta have, you gotta have like the pumpkin spice latte, and then maybe during December, that's when you do like your gingerbread or peppermint mocha.
Peppermint mocha.
Yes, peppermint mocha. There was the egg. I used to like the eggnog latte.
Eggnog lattes.
Yes.
Gingerbread lattes.
Gingerbread latte. Yeah. So
those are all good.
The holiday ones, yeah.
Always, yeah. Those are enjoyable. That would be like our one time a year, because normally we'd be like,
yeah, I'm not a fan of $5 overpriced coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, as financial advisors, I think you're always having in your mind the thing about like that $5 multiplied by 30 years,
Exactly. 365 a day for 30 years. It's like, it's a lot of money that you could have put in your
retirement.
Exactly.
So you can never get that out of your head as a financial advisor. So you're like, one time a year. Yeah. Maybe twice. We can.
Especially sometimes, too, those drinks. I think they've gone to a point where they put too much of like the sugary syrup. So it's kind of like I feel like I'm drinking a little milk, a little coffee, and then like 90% like some sort of sugar syrup.
They're not the same. I mean, maybe it's nostalgia.
I don't know. But it's like, but the problem is, too, once you kind of had a taste of like European coffee and you come back, you used to like €2 cappuccinos, and you're like, oh, this is so good. And then you come in here, $5 latte that's like, you're like, oh yeah, I'll get the tall or grande, and then it's like this big. And you're like, what?
They're very clever, the marketing. If you notice, there's no regular. It's tall, grande, and venti.
Venti?
Yeah.
And what does venti even mean?
I don't even know what venti means in Italian. I'm guessing it's Italian, but
I don't know.
But like tall is, and you're like, this is normal.
I know, it's like this big. I know.
Tall. I know. There's no small in the menu.
Exactly.
It's very, very clever marketing.
I know.
But it's good still to be here. Even we're going to have some different topics today. We'll talk some sports. We'll talk some finance topic. We'll just do,
a whole range of topics.
The whole range of topics on Today Mañana. Love being here on the I Love CVille Network set. Love, of course, our great partners, Emergent Financial Services, Matthias, Realty, Adelante, all are great.
Yeah,
all our great partners.
Nick and I were lucky enough. We got to see Matthias, his wife, and their beautiful daughter a couple of weeks back at the Oktoberfest at the Blue Mountain Brewery. He brought his lederhosen. Yeah, it was so cool. We were trying to get him to go on the show. He didn't want to do it, but it was. And there was a number of people actually kind of too had like the little German stuff. Yeah,
it's so cool.
It really is. Nick and I didn't have the German hats, so the best we did was we brought out like a little Italian hats because it was a nice sunny warm day. Yeah. No, not the berets. The Italian summer
the sun hats.
Yes, exactly. I keep forgetting what you call those, but yes, that was kind of like our best version. It didn't quite fit, but still, We
got to get those little ones with the feather.
Yes, exactly.
I don't think we are German enough to actually do the lederhosen.
But you married into a German family, so maybe it could spread, I don't know. You visited your in-laws in like Bavaria and stuff like that.
No, but I'm like 0% German.
That's okay. If you drink enough German beer, maybe you can help it out.
It's DNA.
Exactly.
I will definitely do that. I definitely drink enough German beer to do that. But they really have such a great time because they do those festivals. I think they had a music festival in my wife's hometown.
Yeah.
And they all dressed up again. They always find a good excuse to dress up in the traditional stuff.
Again, we've had these discussions kind of before. I wish American culture adopted a little more of that. Yeah. They're always having festivals. They're always trying to find a reason to celebrate, which is actually a good thing because then you get like community together and everyone's having a good time and it gives you something to look forward to. And it was nice because you went to the Blue Mountain and they kind of had like the little... I always call it the Oompa Loompa music because I can't remember what the name of it is.
I think it is called Oompa Band.
Oompa Band, okay, yeah. But they kind of like playing the music, so you're kind of like there, and they had like the German beer and like the German dishes. So you eat, and then you're like, this feels nice. You're seeing all these families out, all the kids running around.
It's very pretty out there.
Yes.
Especially this time of year.
I know. The leaves are starting to change color.
Yes.
They are
changing.
I know.
We're going to get all the visitors to
the Shenandoah. I know. Well, a couple of times, remember, you, Nick, and I have gone out there. I always made a rule, though. I was always like, we got to get up really early, and we got to get there like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
We would get there at 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yep.
you get one of the few parking spots.
Well, there's not that many cars. There's usually like 2 or 3 cars. So you're like, okay, this is pretty good. It's freezing in the morning, so that's the only thing. You have to like prepare to be bundled up in the morning, and then by the afternoon you have to take it off because it's starting to get warmer. But it's the same thing. We walk to the top. Nice, not too many people. You kind of got the nature feel of it. And we're big Lord of the Rings fans, so we always kind of feel like, oh my gosh, the leaves on the ground. It's like a Rivendell, Amon Hen kind of feel to it. Exactly. You know, you're humming the music as you're going.
You know, for a while, you had the wooden walking stick.
Yes, I still do. I still got it.
Oh yeah, you never switched to the. Like,
well, every once in a while I did because my mama got them, so I wanted to show that. See, I was using them. But
yeah, you have the big wooden stick. That
the big wooden stick. Yeah, if there's a lot of mountain climbing, I won't bring the big wooden stick because then it's a hassle. Then I got to carry this big wood stick. But if it's just trekking, then I'm more than happy to bring the big wooden stick.
Feel like Gandalf for a little bit.
Exactly, you know, or like the Hobbit. You know, probably more.
Well, that would be a small wooden stick.
Well, it depends relative to this. Yeah, you're right. Okay, we'll go with the Gandalf walking stick. You know,
the Gandalf walking stick, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, but then to get back to the story, but on the way down, suddenly it's people after people after people, and then
you get to the parking lot and you realize there was a train of cars parked on the side for like a mile.
I know.
Down the road, you would have to basically walk a mile to get to the start of the hike.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's why I've always kind of pushed to go early, because for me, when I want to go hiking in nature, I don't really want a lot of people. Like, I kind of don't want to see people.
Because you don't want it to feel like you're in a theme park.
Yeah, you know, and then other people are talking. It's like, you want to enjoy nature, the quiet. You want to hear, like, the wind blow through the thing. You want to hear the birds. You want to hear the crumble of the leaves.
It's also when you'll run into the hardcore Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, those people I don't
mind. You'll be walking, and then you'll see this guy coming.
You have the huge backpack.
Huge backpack, and you know, a lot of times like nice big scruffy beard, and you're like, this dude has been walking the Appalachian Trail. He is a true.
But he's the perfect one because he's quiet. He's not sitting there talking, chatting.
Sometimes they don't even speak, right? They'll kind of just like nod. Like,
yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. You know, you acknowledge your fellow hiker, and then that's it. But yeah, when the crowds are coming, looks at
you with a little bit of like. Oh, you're here at 8:30. Good. You're
a real man.
For a moment, you feel like, oh, I'm a real man.
Maybe he thought we slept there too, so you never know. He was like, it was for the fellow respect.
I'm gonna get up probably. Our backpacks are way too small to have done that. But at least for a moment, you feel like one of those hardcore people was like, okay, you're also semi-hardcore.
You know? And I'm going to sound like a Scrooge here too, but I always like to because then I get to beat the kids. You know, I'm happy to have kids on the trail, just not when I'm there, you know, because this is the noise and everything. And then you're sitting there, you got to wait for one kid to come down. Like, come on, Tommy, you can do it, you can do it. And you're just standing there, you know. It's like, I got to get going, you know. It's like, I got to keep moving. I go up and then I go back down. There's no stop. You're like, I'll stop like a couple minutes, enjoy the scenery, but I got to keep moving, you know.
Exactly. Well, as a parent now, I can't complain about the kids anymore.
No, but my niece and nephew are different. They're excluded from that category.
They don't count.
Exactly.
Yeah, my child is too good.
Exactly. That's how we always feel. Everyone else's children are too loud. No, mine's nice. Mine's quiet. You know?
Exactly. Speaking of which, we got Dr. Elizabeth Urpí is watching, along with Maria Urpí. Is watching the show this morning. So a big hello to my beautiful Maria, my beautiful wife.
She's probably looking at the TV too, like, what's Daddy doing?
Maybe that would be fun. That would be fun if she was like, oh, Daddy.
Yeah, but she does that whenever she sees you on the phone. When you do a video call, she does smile.
She does nice big smile.
You know, so they kind of, it's funny how they can
see it. They recognize you even through the phone. And then we've got Nicholas Urpí is actually watching. The Tom Tom Foundation mentioned today Mañana, so we appreciate that. That's always cool. And Monica Miller from Montana is tuning in.
I knew Monica would be watching.
Oh yes, she's one of our favorite viewers. Among other reasons why she's our favorite, but she's very loyal and dedicated.
Yeah, she heard us talking about the Oktoberfest and the Lidos, and she's like, "Oh,
there we go."
Yeah.
So that was really enjoyable, and I think there's going to be a lot more opportunities now that the fall's here to go out, enjoy the weather, enjoy the time.
Yeah.
I've noticed it's been cool enough that some of the buds are dying.
Yes. Well, you had an infestation of the spotted land.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's hard to infestation. Not like they invaded my house or anything.
Yeah, excuse me,
but
you
they
had
went on the outside. Because
how many did you have?
Crozet had tons of them.
Yeah, but give a number. This is what people know.
There's like 40.
That's an infestation. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you know?
No, I don't want people to think that my house got like they laid eggs in my house or anything.
No,
but they come to sit.
Yeah, but they swarm.
Yeah, they swarm the front of your house because I think what happens is it gets hot. So they want to get out of the heat of the plants, and they just say, "Oh, good, he's got shade." Mm-hmm. And I hate it because in the morning when I would want to go out on my deck and have a cup of coffee, they're on my deck, and I'm like, oh, they're enjoying my deck. In the afternoon when I come home, they're no longer on my deck, but now they're on the front of my house. I'm like, they're enjoying my house more than I am. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But now they are definitely dying. So that is always.
It's kind of funny too because you're having a bad year for spotted lanternflies. Usually where we live, we have bad stink bug season.
It's bad.
This year was not bad at all. Now last year was bad. Like we had a lot of stink bugs. We were having the same thing. It's like you get to the door, there's like 10 of them, right? So you have to spray them down, and then you're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, run in. Yep. Because the stink bugs want to get to your house. That's the problem. They're trying to get in. They'll land on you to get into your house. They fly at you. I hate those things. But this year was not bad at all. So I'm hoping that the cold winter helped like kill the number of them.
And maybe as things adjust, so maybe that's what will happen.
Yes.
Other creatures will adjust to the spotted lanternflies and begin eating them.
Yeah.
And that will help.
The birds I remember like the first few years, like we had the stink bugs, the same thing, like never saw a bird eating them. Then we start seeing the birds coming to eat them.
The birds, the praying mantises.
The praying mantises, yeah. Those guys will eat anything, let's be honest.
They'll eat, which is good. I'll take them. Because they don't try to come in, and they really don't do anything to bother you. No. They're so slow.
They're just creepy, that's all.
Yeah, they're creepy. But you never have to worry like this praying mantises like fly and land on me.
No.
They barely even move. They're like
I will give the spotted lanternflies that only credit. They're not aggressive in the sense that I've never seen them actually fly and fly. Like stink bugs are aggressive in the sense that they'll fly. Plus, they also know when you're trying to kill them. Yes. Like you'll start spraying them, and then they'll fly at you. Like they get angry that you're trying. They know you're trying to kill them, and they'll fly at you. It's not like they have any actually attack mechanism. All they do is just land on you. But obviously, they know how creepy they are. So when they land on you, you're like,
exactly.
You know,
and you can't, and they know that you can't kill them.
I know because they get
just like go like this because then you will stay.
Well, I also learned that they actually release the stench too when they feel I'm threatened, which is why sometimes you could smell them even though you haven't killed them.
When they're not dead.
Yes, they release it. They're kind of like a skunk bug in some ways because they shoot out that smell. At least the spotted lanterns, at least to my knowledge, I don't think they have any smell. No, they don't have a smell.
Yeah. And it's funny. The cold. Now I open my door and there's like. It's a graveyard in front of my house. There's like 20 dead ones, and I'm like, I didn't do it.
Yeah,
I'm innocent.
Not that you'd feel guilty if you did.
Yeah, not that I would feel bad if I did, but like, just for the record, I did not kill 20 spotted lanternflies.
Yeah, PETA, don't come after Alex.
In the middle of the night. Yeah, I didn't go out there in the dark and like hammer them. So that's been good that we're entering that phase of year.
Yes, and with fall too. Comes football. I know we wanted to talk a little UVA football.
UVA football.
I know.
5-1 at long last.
I know. Well, now we ranked in the top 25. When someone told me that, I was like, nah, there's no way. Because that's what we 18, I know. 18. Which it almost doesn't even. It feels surreal in some ways.
When we were 1-1, having lost to NC State, I would not have believed.
No.
You're like, okay, yeah, we can beat the lousy teams, but.
Well, like the offense looked good, so we're like, okay, the offense is finally looking good.
Bad.
But the defense wasn't looking so good. But they really turned around.
Well, I think what stepped it off. I think the secondary still has some flaws.
Yeah, we give up a lot of big plays.
The pass rush is proving itself.
Yes.
To be.
That's what really won us the game in some ways against Florida State was that pass rush. Because again, every once in a while you give up the deep pass. I went to a game where we played I think it was William Mary, where like some real knockout game. The only knock was that when I was watching, I was like, damn, it was like they were getting some deep pass plays. I was like, now granted they couldn't really stop us, so it became irrelevant. But I was noticing, I was like, William Mary's getting like a 75-yard touchdown pass against you. That's not. It's not ideal, no.
Yeah, exactly. But here we are, beat Florida State, beat Louisville. Mm-hmm. And now, basically, winning out is hard.
Yeah.
But if you win out, you can actually go to the ACC championship game at this point.
Winning out's not impossible. There's some tricky games ahead. Obviously, Washington State, where I think they have us like a 10-point favorites or something. That's like really, really high.
That's at home?
That's here. Okay. This week.
Yeah, Washington State, I think, is definitely beatable.
Yeah, the tough one's probably going to be, obviously, Virginia Tech always ends up being tough.
Yes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem like they're so bad this year, but it doesn't even matter how bad they are.
No.
They are going to probably come into that game thinking
it's a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Plus, exactly, it will be their Super Bowl this year because they ain't going bowling.
No.
So they are going to come into that game and say, if we can beat UVA and
yes,
ruin their
season, that makes our season. I know.
Yes.
You always have to be careful of that. And then there's still, we have to go to UNC. You know, now UNC hasn't been good this year, but still, you have Belichick as coach, and then we'll have to play Duke. Yep.
At Duke is going to be. I think this Duke actually is playing well.
Yes,
year.
I know. I noticed.
So at Duke is probably going to be. Mm-hmm. That's probably the hardest remaining game.
Yeah, in terms of actual
opponent talent.
Yeah. Let's not jinx this weekend, but it's.
No, but I mean, not that this year. It's Washington State's no pushover. So
they got close last week. Who did they play? Ole Miss, yes, and it was a close game. It was like a 3-point game or something like that.
Ole Miss is SEC ranked.
Yeah.
So Washington State's not a pushover. UNC looks really dysfunctional right now. I mean, there's no telling if Belichick turns it around, but they look pretty bad.
And I would agree, but again, road games, it's always going to be tricky.
It just in terms of the talent on the field, Duke is the best remaining team. Doesn't mean the others aren't good, but Duke is the best of the ones we will play. But I mean, we're looking good. Morris looks good.
Yeah, it's exciting too to have points is always the most exciting in football. So when you have a really good offense, I think it gets people to the stadium, and it's nice to see that Florida State game. Man, the stadium was packed. The way they rushed the field, I mean, they were like, it's the fastest rush to field ever.
People were like, oh man, they were so eager to rush the field. I'm like, when you haven't beaten a top 10 team at home in 2 decades. Then yes, you're going to be pretty excited.
And with some really near misses.
Sometimes years where you thought you would. We were at the Notre Dame.
We were at both of those.
We were at the Notre Dame game under. Was it Mendenhall still?
No, that was with London.
London.
Yes.
Yeah. You're 40 seconds away.
I know.
With a 4th down, and you lose. And then the Louisville game, same thing. There was a minute left, and I'm pretty sure they also had a 4th and 5 as which they died.
And they got a touchdown pass, and I know it's devastating.
So I mean, when you've been there, yes, you're going to be a little overeager to rush the field. Yeah. But if anybody deserves to rush the field, it would be UVA that hasn't done it in 20 years at home.
Yeah. And listen, everyone made it out alive and okay. So in the end, no harm, no foul.
There's a couple people got hurt, but
well, I felt bad for the receiver who dropped the ball in. So one person made the little joke. You ever said the memes? He said he showed the guy must have been like a Simba. You ever see Simba in the Lion King
when he sees Stampede?
Yeah, he sees Stampede because all the people just started coming out the minute he dropped the ball. But yeah, that was a great win for the program.
That was a huge win.
And hopefully it builds their confidence week in and week out and.
Louisville was a big win, too, but that could easily have been a letdown game, especially when it was overtime again. But they pulled it out and got the win, and that put themselves in a very good position.
Yeah. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. And I've been hearing about UVA basketball that a lot of people are excited about the year because they think they're going to have
sleeper.
Yes, because they think we're going to have a really good offense. They people like the coach, and they apparently I haven't been following basketball. Yes, so they're expecting some big things because remember talking to some gentleman we know who park the cars, and they said they're actually expecting a busy year.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yes, because they're expecting a lot of people to come out because they think they're going to get excited about the new offense. Because I mean. Listen, we were very big Tony Bennett fans. It's just the problem is in terms of pure entertainment, people want to see points. They want to see scoring. Tony Bennett was a different structure.
Well, you know what it is? I think it's easy to put fans in the seats with a defensive style of play when you're a top 10 team consistently. So, I mean, we were consistently one of the best teams in the country under Tony Bennett. I think the problem is when you fall out and you're no longer one of the best teams in the country, then the super slow-paced defense is not as interesting to people because it's you're not exciting and you're not winning as much.
They don't want to see
when you're winning.
Yeah.
And then let's face it, we also, at the end of Tony Bennett, we had good defenses, but no longer the crazy great defenses. The defense thing is exciting when, you come in there man, the other team only scored 28 points in the whole game. That's crazy good.
Yeah.
When it's we won 55-50, and saying, okay, that's not as interesting.
Yeah.
Especially when you would lose, 52-48. You're like, now it's really not fun to lose 52-48. So I think this will get some, because I think he plays a faster pace Odom. And Is it Odom?
I don't remember the name of the coach.
Ryan Odom. Yeah. Okay. I thought so. Thank you. It's always the time.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, Jerry keeps
very good track. What is it? Jerry is on Tuesdays.
Yes.
So they keep very good track of all things. I knew it was. I didn't want to mix him up with the guy that used to be in the Lakers, Lamar Odom.
Oh, Alex, that's way back.
Way back. Well, everything I know about NBA is
probably way back.
So I don't follow it too much.
Prehistoric age.
Yeah, prehistoric age of the NBA. So when the Spurs stopped winning, I stopped.
Yeah. You used to follow the Knicks a little bit, though.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Following the Knicks is 5 decades.
Following the Knicks is a lot like following the Mets. You're always prepared for like the worst possible. Like
exactly.
You're prepared for that. They'll actually look like they'll actually do something then, but in the end, just have the same result as they always do, which is just have some miraculous failure or something like that.
Exactly. I just refer to it as 5 decades of futility.
5 decades of futility.
But you can't give up hope. You can't give up. That's why I think, UVA basketball, I know it was rough when Tony Bennett retired, but I think we'll come back. I think we'll bounce back on that. Hopefully baseball can do the same. Baseball.
Baseball.
The Duke coach the coach we stole from Duke of all places is well regarded. So.
Yeah, I know. Just that whole situation still kind of leaves a bitter taste in my mouth.
It does.
Because O'Connor he's been with us for so long and had so much success, and just it feels.
Yeah, it's just one of those super inexplicable things that Tony Bennett, in retrospect, you were like, oh, you know what, that kind of made sense.
A lot of great coaches have felt like the new structure of college sports is just not the same.
Not the same for them, yeah.
Whether it's because the players are getting paid or whether because they could just literally transfer from any school without having to sit a year. I think that has not sat well with a lot of good coaches. I mean, I think Coach K, I bet you that's part of the reason he retired. Coach Saban has definitely said that's the reason he stopped. And these were guys with massive success, and I think Tony Bennett was kind of feeling the same pressure. I mean, it's like every year you just had all a new team, and it's just like when you're trying to teach them defense and kind of fundamentals how to play basketball. It's like you need to stay more than 1 year. You need to, our best teams was when you had the third year and the fourth years, the seniors. When we won the championship, it was because Kyle Guy and Jerome and
they were both senior. Well, maybe third or fourth. They were third year, I think.
Yes, and Hunter they had been
the second year.
Yeah, but they had been there at least a couple of years, so they had already had time on the system. You can't just come 1 year and then be like, okay, I didn't win. Now I'm just switching. And then someone else comes in. It's like you're never going to learn that way.
I think he felt used. There were a couple big prospects that came redshirted and then said, "Thank you very much, Mr. Bennett. I'm getting a nice big deal from this other school, and I'm leaving." And it's like you kind of just feel used. I mean, you never even played for me.
Yeah.
So that one I think was not a shocker in retrospect. The Coach O'Connor still strikes me as a shocker in the sense that this is a guy who turned down Texas to stay here, and then left.
And then where we go,
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Still was a shocker. But what can you do there? So we'll see what happens there, and then hopefully. And this women's swimming and diving will probably still keep winning, and then maybe he can carry it over to the men's.
Yeah.
So it's a good. I think it's a better time than any time in the last 2-3 years to be a UVA fan.
Yeah, like we've been saying, like the sun's peeking through the clouds now for UVA sports. So we were definitely a little worried. We'd had conversations privately about okay, is this new college athletes getting paid? Them switching, how's this going to hurt some second tier schools like UVA? At least when it comes to sports and education. But hopefully things are kind of turning around there. So
that would be nice.
That's nice.
That would be nice.
And I know you wanted to talk a little finance.
We can talk some finance. I figure, did some, some finance topics in. I mean, there's a couple things that have been happening, and I just think it was worth kind of commenting. In particular, I think just interesting to continue to see the complete transformation in. I mean, we still have people that walk into the office and are like, am I up this year? And we're like, yeah, you're up this year. And they're like, what about April? And you're like, April went down for 2 weeks. The market has been up since April, and it was up before April. And I think just seeing the total transformation in how the economists, the Federal Reserve, people are looking at the tariff situation. And I don't want to say a complete 180, Because I think you will still find your people who are your diehard tariffs will never work. You cannot get anyone to come to negotiate with you if you put tariffs on them. But I think what we have seen is you can.
Yeah.
Like you actually can threaten Europeans with tariffs and get them to make a deal for you that it was stunning. I was pleased with that. I mean, you literally had The Guardian, which is like a British newspaper, saying that Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commissioner, did a terrible job negotiating because Europe got crushed by the deal that they made. And I'm like, well, as an American, that's a good thing. Yeah. Because if Europe is unhappy with their trade deal, that means we probably got a good deal. And then you look into some of the numbers, and you see, indeed, I mean, they are going to be buying American cars for way less than, I mean, American cars were all but priced out of Europe. It's always so funny, right, to hear people say, oh, you should never put tariffs on automobiles. And I'm like, the Europeans have had like a 15, 20% tariff on American automobiles for 20 years, and it doesn't seem to have hurt them very much.
Yeah, and all you have to do is ever go to Europe to figure that out, because you come here and, of course, you see European cars here.
You see Chryslers, well, now owned by, right? You see Chrysler owned by Fiat.
Yeah.
You see, is it Land Rover that's British? For that one of those, Range Rover, one of those guys, right? You see a lot of European cars. You go to Europe, they're all Fiats.
Yes.
Fiat,
or
Range
Mercedes-Benz.
Mercedes-Benz. You do not see American. Why? Because you can't afford an American car in Europe because there are tariffs on it, right? Those have dropped tremendously. So I think the transformation, and now I think the last piece to fall is China, right? Because, and the tricky part about China is, do you actually want to make a deal with them? Because I'm not sure I want us to go back to 10% tariff on Chinese goods, because that's not enough to get companies to stop producing the stuff in China with slave labor and start making it.
Well,
here.
Hasn't Trump proposed like 100% tariff? Didn't he
they're at 100. Yeah, that's the one that's the current thing. If they don't make a deal, I mean, they're sitting at like 100, right? And I think Besson said today that we're still kind of in a trade war with China, functionally. And I think the point is, okay, we talk about trade war like it's this bad thing, but if the other guy is undercutting you with people making $1 an hour, are they not in a trade war with you already? Right? So the question is not, the question is not, do I start a trade war with China by putting tariffs on them? The question is, am I already in a trade war with China? I just haven't been acting like it.
And I'll be honest too, there's nothing that China makes for us that I say, okay, this is critical, and rarely, and if they do make anything critical, that they shouldn't be changing already. Because we had this discussion way back when, during COVID, remember? We found out how many of our healthcare products were coming from China. We're like, why are we getting this stuff from China? Like, we shouldn't be getting this. We should be making this stuff here.
And we saw it for a very good reason.
Yes, because during the pandemic, suddenly it's like, we don't want to send it to you, or we're going to charge you extra, to send it to you. So we need to switch it. After that, what does China really do? They make a lot of cheaper, plastic products.
Parts. They make a lot of technological parts that then get assembled in the United States.
Okay.
Right? But you sit there and you say, I mean, I don't think anybody believed Apple's CEO Cook when he said that the quality of the labor in China, they're so good at skilled at making the small chips that eventually end up in iPhones. And people are like, so you tell me Americans are so dumb you can't train your own citizens to... So in other words, you're not in China. It's kind of even worse. You're telling me you're not even in China because it's cheaper. You're telling me that you can't train Americans to do something that China can train their workers to do. And everyone was like, do I buy that? I mean, you're telling me you're essentially telling me the Americans are stupid and they can't be trained to make these technological parts that you then assemble. But they're smart enough to assemble them. Yeah. But they're not smart enough to make them. So I think that's the last chip that we kind of have to see where it goes.
Yeah, I just think it's funny because I think the problem with economists is that they were given this impression that the tariffs would cause such massive inflation that the whole economy would collapse, and then like the stock market would collapse. And I think the problem is we've seen a number of even our own clients come in believing that scenario to basically be like a reality. Like whether it's like a reality right now or whether like they'll be like expected like, oh, did the market crash? I lose all my money. It's like, no, like that's not gonna that didn't happen. Like some people come in thinking that happens. Like no, it didn't happen. Like because they saw April, like you said, they're like April's like, oh, I must have lost all my money. It's like no, like it went down. Now it's been up for the past 6 months since, right? And then they also have this rally that like they think, oh no, eventually it's gonna crash because inflation is gonna show. Inflation hasn't shot up every month. Remember, the Fed will be like, "Well, we want to lower because we think of it." And
finally they did.
Yeah, they finally did because it's like the inflation.
And I think that's the thing. If the economy struggles this year, it's not going to be because we saw a 10% spike in prices. It's going to be because the consumer finally ran out of money because they have $1 trillion of consumer debt. Yeah. That's going to be why. In other words, it's going to be a demand slowdown where the consumer's like, I cannot buy more things. I ran out of buy now, pay later. My credit card is maxed. And is that still a problem?
It's
still a possibility. I mean, the consumer debt has not gone down. Because the problem with inflation is why we talk about why inflation is so perfidious, right? Is because, from 2020 to 2024, if you sum up the inflation, you're talking about somewhere between a 25 to 30% increase in the price level. Inflation is now down to 2.3, I think it was, somewhere a little higher than 2. So inflation is down from 9 all the way down to 2, right? The problem is that's not negative.
Yes, it's still going up.
That doesn't mean prices go down, because prices never go back down. It's recessions that sometimes and depressions that make prices go down, but prices have not come down. They're just not increasing as much. But that's what happens. Like when you bring inflation back down, you can't undo the inflation that happened. So you're sitting here saying everything is still 25% more expensive than it was 4 or 5 years ago, right? I can't make that magically disappear, nor would you want to. I mean, nobody's going to be like, let me cause a depression so I can make prices go down, right? So you can't make this. So now the issue is, if people were buying things with credit cards, what happens when you can't do that anymore? You have too much credit card debt. And we're sitting at about like $1 trillion there. So, I'm sorry, we were at $1 trillion on January 1st of this year.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gone down since then. But I think my point being is that Xavier talks about this all the time. What gets you, the next recession is always going to be caused by the thing that you didn't think was going to cause it. And I remember in the whole 2010s, it was always the housing crisis. Oh, we're going to have another one, right? 2020, housing prices, they're going up so much. What are we going to do? And Xavier would always say, no, the next recession is not going to be the housing bubble. Because everyone's looking at, watching to see the housing bubble. And I think it's going to be similar here. Everyone's like, has the magnifying glass on the tariffs. And the recession's probably going to be caused by this thing back here, which you're not looking at, and which is going to hit you and say, oh, that's what it was. That was going to cause it. And I mean, I can't say what it is, but there's greater than a 50% chance that, and it could be the tariffs, but there's a greater than 50% chance it's not going to be, because everyone has a magnifying glass on that. Everyone is baking that into their expectations. Everyone is looking out for it. Everyone's trying to figure out if it's going to cause a problem. And it's trying to probably be this other thing that no one's thinking about that actually causes a problem.
You think that's credit card debt?
Could be credit card debt. Heck, now that I said it won't be housing, it could be housing.
It could be housing.
Housing caused the problem. So
what about student loan debt? Because that's
it could be that. That's off the table as far as that getting wiped off the off the map. We probably wouldn't have solved that problem anyway. It's possible. One of the dirty little secrets of student loan debt is that most of it is held by actual people who make a whole bunch of money. Because the highest student loan debt holders is like lawyers, doctors, etc. And so you're like, well, your income eventually compensates for that, right?
Yeah.
The riskier student loan debt is people who dropped out. That's where you get into trouble. You have the subset of people who dropped out or failed and now also have $100,000, $200,000 of student loans, as opposed to the doctor who has $300,000 of student loans, but he's going to make $250,000 a year. It's like, okay, you will eventually get rid of that debt. So that's a tricky one. It could be a problem. I think it may fall into that kind of consumer debt, student loan debt category. You know, it may tie into housing because someone's like, well, I can't get a mortgage because I have student loan debt, so I'm renting. And I really can't afford to be renting. So it's so many pieces that intertwine and interconnect there. And Ricardo Cruz Duran, muchísimas gracias.
Ricardo's out in Virginia Beach now. I ran into him at the... Yes.
Did you? Oh, I ran into him on this past weekend.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
I ran into him a couple weeks back at the Sabroso Festival. That's what it was.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So and he told me he was doing well, though. Mm-hmm.
I know.
We're big fans of Ricardo.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
One of these days, like I don't think we've ever been to Virginia Beach. You know, we've lived in Virginia now... 15, 16 years?
I just Williamsburg, Yorktown, Jamestown doesn't count.
That's how Virginia Beach is in the beach.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been.
No, I've never been there.
It's kind of crazy. I just confessions on today, Mañana.
I know, we've never.
My turn, I haven't ever been. I guess you can just chalk that up to our loyalty for Charlottesville and Central Virginia. We have not betrayed you for Virginia Beach.
What does you can't visit? But now would probably be a great time to go if you just didn't want to swim in the water.
Yeah, as long as you don't want to swim in the water, that's I'm sure it's getting chillier.
At this point, I think beach season
is probably...
Yeah. My dad always used to say, because they used to kind of, in the New York, New Jersey area, kind of go to the beach, he always said September is actually a really nice time of year because the water actually got the warmest. So even though the weather itself wasn't as warm as July or August, the water was warmer. The water was warmer, actually.
Warmer than like July.
Yes, the water gets warmer. So, some ways it's easier to go into the water.
Well, a lot of people do Virginia Beach and the Outer Banks. Oh, actually, I have been. One time.
Oh, you did?
Yes, the camping trip in 2021, but you were sick.
Oh.
So that was your one chance.
Oh. Did you go in the water?
Yes, I did. I did go in the water. It was on the beach. It wasn't technically called Virginia. It wasn't the one with the boardwalk.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those state parks that's on Virginia Beach.
You traitor.
Okay.
One without your little brother. You should have stayed home if I was sick.
Once Nikki betrayed you, I said I might as well join.
Well, Nikki's betrayed you. And Nikki's very easily betrayed us.
I should call him Nick on the air. Nick. It was often. Ricardo says, miss you guys and so nice to run into great leaders of the community and good friends.
Same here, Ricardo.
I'm sure he's proving himself a leader in
I have no doubt, yeah.
I have no doubt of it. No doubt of it. Yes, those were just a couple things that I was thinking about as far as the economy is going. We talked about it there.
Did you ask Xavier about his economic outlook for 2026 or not yet?
We discussed it a little bit. We just kind of our shutdown outlook. That I think that's kind of proven true. I mean, I'm pretty sure the market
doesn't seem to really care about that.
Up.
It's been up, I think, since
I pull in one of those things, where you doodle something halfway through the while live on the show, because I'm pretty sure.
Listen, we've had this conversation before. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The numbers.
In the last month, the market's up 2%.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
1.4.
When it comes to political stuff, I don't think the market really cares. And be honest, we've been through government shutdowns before. I think sometimes it's a testament to sometimes, in my opinion, how inefficient government is that it can actually shut down and people's like, I don't even know it's a shutdown. Yeah, exactly. It's like...
Well, and apparently the longest one was 35 days in the 2010s or something. And I'm like, I don't even remember the 35-day shutdown. I don't remember. I remember that there was a shutdown, but I didn't remember that it was 35 days. And I don't think we're anywhere close to 35 yet. I think we have a ways to go. Let's see, what day of government shutdown is it?
I'm surprised it's not like a CNN tracker that they got 14 days.
16. I mean,
16. Okay.
We're not even halfway there. We're not even halfway there yet.
Yeah.
So, and again, I think what people need to keep in mind is the stock market and the bond market are forward-looking entities. Meaning, and you think about this just yourself, right? When you go buy a stock, do you buy a stock because it went up for the last year, or because you think it will go up in the next year, right? No one goes and buys Costa because that Costa was really good last year.
Well, I'm not sure about that. There's some people's like, I bought this because it's been up.
But they think because it was up,
yes,
it'll be up, right? No one says, I want to buy Costa. I think it's going to be down over the next year, but I'm going to buy it because it was really good last year, right? No, you buy it to the extent that you care that it was up last year. It's because you think that gives you proof that it will be up next year. You think that past performance gives you an idea as to future results, right? So you yourself do things forward looking. I buy X stock because I think it will go up. Well, the market does the same thing. The market says, I am going to buy stocks, which pushes the stock market up, because I think that things will get better over the next month, year, 3 years, 5 years than they are at this precise moment, right? If the market didn't think that, right, then it would have gone down in advance. So you look at something like the shutdown, right? The market knew that there was going to be, if you read the news, you knew that there was going to probably be a shutdown. You also knew that it probably was not going to be for a day, right? So that's baked in. So it's not as though the day of the shutdown, everyone in the stock market wakes up and says,
oh my God,
there's a government shutdown. That's possible? Let me sell my stocks.
Yeah.
No. If you were going to sell your stocks, you sold them 2 weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that gets baked in. And the same thing happened with the interest rates when the Federal Reserve lowered interest rate. It's not as though the mortgage rate just drops that day because everyone in the bond market says, they lowered rates, the mortgage rate has to come down. No. The mortgage rate slowly went down in the month several months leading up to the actual drop in the rate. Does the market say, I think they're going to lower rates.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't mean there can't still be shockers, like there could be an unknown thing that no one knew was going to happen, which suddenly occurs. That's how you get spikes in the price of oil. It's like, oh, this war started that I had no clue that this guy was going to just randomly bomb this other guy, right? But to the extent that you know what's going to happen, that's why, the classic example, the market went up the day that Russia invaded Ukraine. You would sit there and say, how is that possible? Right, you would think that this would qualify as a major negative world event. Well, no, because for 2 weeks and the month leading up to it, every day on the news, there are massive Russian troops sitting on the border of Ukraine. So anyone with half a brain was like, well, there might be a war.
Yeah.
You usually don't put all these troops on the border of another country only to then not invade, right? So the market had baked it in. And on the actual day, there was no unexpected news, which would cause you to say, there was nothing which would cause you to say, yesterday, I thought the market was this price, but today, everything has changed. It's like, no, not really. Yesterday, I already expected that this might happen.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think people need to keep in mind. The market, just like you as a consumer, right, is not doing things saying, I only care what happened yesterday. It's saying, I am guessing what is going to happen tomorrow. And if what happens tomorrow indeed matches my expectations, then nothing's going to change. So that's just something to, I think, keep in mind when you think about the outlooks. There doesn't mean there can't be black swans, but it's the black swans that affect things, not the well-known white swan that I saw coming a mile away. So that's kind of that's the thinking there. But yeah, so that's our finance topic.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground today.
We covered a lot of ground. We did. We always do. We always manage. You and I.
We just start talking.
Yeah. We managed to fill some time. So that's.
And hopefully entertained our viewers.
Hopefully entertained some viewers. Gave you some things to think about. Gave you some reasons to go see some UVA sports. It's enjoyable to watch. I think live sports. So I would encourage people. Get out there, enjoy the weather. If it's not football,
you talk about yourself too.
I'm talking about myself too. I really should.
Yeah.
I have to see if the wife and baby.
Alex needs the permission slip now.
I need a little bit of the permission slip from the. Mostly from the baby.
The baby.
Elizabeth, my wife is great, so she's always like, "Oh, you're the best." James Watson makes the good point. Thanks for watching the show. Yeah, where you will see the impacts on the shutdown is not necessarily in Charlottesville, but with people, Virginia Beach, Washington, D.C. In other words, if you were employed or had the second order effects, that's where you're going to see the impact, right? I think we're thinking more if you're looking at the vast economic scale, your impact isn't immediately noticeable there. But if you're employed, we have some clients. If you're employed by the federal government, you're waiting on your next paycheck. Now, the irony is that the slight difference from the private sector is that your paycheck will come when it ends, right? You get the back pay as opposed to like you're laid off and now you're permanently not there. But the key is it's the classic where government spending comes in, right? If you're not working for the government, your impact is much less noticeable there. Yeah. Especially the federal government, because it's so vastly removed from local politics there. Yeah. So that's where you'll see the impact. But again, the long-term picture is dependent on what kind of debt happens in those few weeks, because you always get that back pay. That kind of the government spending always comes back. It gets delayed, but it doesn't actually disappear, which would happen the point of recessions, right? You lose private sector spending, it goes into savings. Government spending, it doesn't go into savings, it returns to government spending. Yeah. When you look at the GDP equation, so that's the major difference there. But excellent point. But alrighty, this has been a great show.
Yeah, I was happy to be here with you, Alex.
Always enjoyable. Yeah, good to be on with you. Good to enjoy the time, and we'll have this time we will see people in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So, it'll be close to Halloween at that point.
This might be our final one for October, though, isn't it? We might be back in November.
October 30th.
Oh, October 30th. Okay.
We'll be back the day before Halloween.
Okay.
Don't expect the costumes. We don't really do. We leave the costumes to
Jerry and Keith.
Huh?
Are we still going to do Batman and Robin again, or are we changing it up? Okay. Yeah.
We did some Alfred. We did the whole team. The whole team.
Better Alfred than Batgirl, I guess.
Judah does remind me of an Alfred in the sense that he's got the big computer. When Alfred has the huge bat computer and he's doing all the things. Batman's in the machine, but Alfred's actually driving the Batmobile. I feel like that's kind of us. We're sitting here spouting our mouths off, and Judah's actually driving the whole show. He's like, this camera, and then this camera, and then this live stream, and then switch to this shot, right? And that's actually what's moving, and we're kind of just sitting there looking cool and, going like this on the wheel as though we're driving. Yeah. But so it'll be fun. So we'll see everyone the day before Halloween.
Day before Halloween, okay.
It's been enjoyable, and looking forward to it. Thanks for everyone who commented, sent some questions. Yep. Always appreciate it. Always appreciate being here with you.
Same here, Alex.
The camera. Always love when Jerry's in the studio. Yeah, it's fun. We also get helps us keep us on our toes when it comes to sports. And love being here on the I Love CVille Network set. Big thank you, of course, to Emergent Financial Services, Matthias, you own Realty, Forward Adelante, all our great partners. Look forward to seeing everyone in a couple weeks. But until that time, as we like to close it out on the show, hasta mañana.